You know, when you've heard people before, especially in the entertainment world, claim that they would move out of the country if Donald Trump ever became the president. If ever Donald Trump, they swore they would move out. They would leave. And you've heard this before. I thought to myself, what is how first of all, why would anybody want to leave? What could ever make anyone want to leave their home, their country? What possibly could ever make somebody so frightened, so scared, so wrought that they left their country? What? What possibly could anybody do? And I understand. I understand like you can't believe. I today, Mrs. Ellen and I were tooling about. We happened to be perambulating around, right around Trump Tower, doing some business, and it hit me. It hit me. If Kamala Harris, if DEI meets DUI, and if they somehow were to steal another one or whatever the thing is, I do not know what I would be. I do not know how I would be able to function, how I would be able to even get up in the morning, or to think, if I'm thinking this, not that she win or won, but who would be controlling her? I don't know. And I think to myself, like you do, how is it that I live in this parallel universe where this is even remotely possible? I gave you this. I just did a video. The Lionel members will be getting this later. But the video stands for the proposition as follows, and work with me. And please don't think I'm trying to be rude or crude or whatever it is, but I really am very serious about this. Let's assume, for the sake of argument, arguendo, let's assume that for reasons we don't know, there was somebody who came before the world and was very, really bad. Like something was, whoa. I mean, somebody with, severe brain damage or chromosomes missing. Please, just imagine. Do you think that there would be some movement? Work with me on this. I'm not trying to be cute. That people would say, "Oh no, we can't do this. We can't allow this. No. Sorry, no. Why? There's nothing in the forget the Constitution. No, we cannot have somebody. No, this person obviously cannot drive a car. No. Do you think we would ever get to that point? I would like to be able to think so. I would like to be able to think that somebody would say, no. How do people look at Kamala Harris? This DUI queen, the hunter, as my friend calls them, the hunter and blatherers. How does anybody look at her and not say, oh my God? I got to tell you this story. Talked to a friend of mine today. He's from Minneapolis, lives in Minneapolis now, and knows Waltz very well. And I said, and I've known him my entire life. And he's probably one of the most sincere, progressive types you'll ever meet. He's not one of these crazy when it comes to sex changes and all this, but he really believes in things like, he believes in socialized medicine or universal health care. We used to call it socialized medicine, but he really believes in stuff about education and all this kind of stuff. Okay. So I said, tell me the truth about Waltz. Tell me the truth. Be honest with me. He said, oh, great guy. Love him. I said, really? I said, well, maybe that's good to know. Why do you love him? Why do you love him? Why is he so great? Fill me in. And he said, well, first of all, he says this is Minnesota. He said the education is just one of the best education systems in the country. Is saying, top 10. Some of the big tech companies are in Minnesota. I said, you sound. This sounds very, very Chamber of Commerce. Go ahead. Oh, and healthcare. I said, you mentioned healthcare. What else? Oh, and women's rights. I said, abortion is you're concerned about abortion. I said, have you ever known anybody who's not been able to get an abortion? What are you talking about? What does this mean? But here's the best part. I said, well, let me ask you something. What scares a lot of people is that what he will be known for the worst is that the George Floyd riots, all he had to do, work with me on this, all he had to do was just use, instill, bring out, call out the National Guard. That was it. This is a no-brainer. The National Guard. That's it. National Guard. He had to bring out the National Guard. That's all he had to do. I mean, this is kind of goes without saying it. The National Guard. And he didn't. And you know, and I know the reason why was because he wanted to burn down your state, but your big city, Minneapolis. You know it and I know it. You know it, right? So I told him, and we kind of got into it. It wasn't heated. I said, but you do know this, right? He wanted him to burn down his town. You know this. He has to. And what's interesting about this is that you can't miss the point, because if I'm standing in front of a house and I've got a phone and I see these fires starting, I know the people aren't there. I know they're not there. And I'm watching what's happening, and I'm watching this fire starting, and I'm realizing, oh, this thing's picking up, and I see it almost in the first floor. I see the basement. It's like, wow, this is a basement fire. This is serious stuff here. This is going to be, this looks like an old wooden house, and wow, this really looks scary. And I've got the phone in my hand. I'm saying, wow, this looks like something here. I don't call. It's called, in the business, misprision. It's when you owe an affirmative duty. And one could argue whether I have an affirmative duty to call the fire department. But I think in this particular hypothetical, I have a moral duty to do so. I think I have a moral duty, and I don't do it. What do you think that would be? What would you think of this? And I'm the governor. I told my friend, I said, and you're talking to me about healthcare and school? What are you talking about? For the love of God, do you not? Are these people? And he goes, that was 4 years ago. I said, I don't care if it was 40 years ago. And his wife smells the wafting of the burning and I realized, I think this, and it's not liberalism. It's not woke. It's not any of that. It's something else. It is a distortion of reality, the likes of which I have never seen before. I can't believe it. So I'm thinking what if they steal it? What if somehow, despite all our hard work, there's this, I can't even think about it. This is what people must have thought about when they thought about Trump. But Trump was at least competent. People saw 4 years of Trump. What did they suffer? I asked myself, what did you suffer? It was great. Gas was what, $1? It was. There is a fellow named Lavelle Crawford, or I think his name is Lavelle. Have you ever seen him? I cannot repeat anything he says. I will be indicted. He's a black comic, and his name is, I believe it's Lavelle Crawford. He lost a lot of weight. He was really, really, really overweight. Yes. No, is that? Yes. Lavelle Crawford. He weighed, he was so, maybe he's lost some weight. I hope he's lost some weight. In any event, he does this routine that is so, if I said what he said, I just, and he loves Trump, and he went out supposedly trying to slam Trump, and he said, "Don't you understand? Gas was $1.87." He said he scared the hell out of the world when he shows up at the first G7. He goes, "Get the hell out of the way! I'm here." I can't do the routine, but it was incredible. Buddha TT Boy says the media has not asked her any tough questions. Same with her VP. The fix is in. Oh, the media fix is in. You better believe it. Of course it is. In fact, JD Vance, did you see JD walk in front of her plane, supposedly trying to challenge her to a debate? They're not going to have her a debate anymore. They're not going to have a debate. They're going to try their best. Now, here is the thing. Here is the thing. You've got to ask yourself, what is it? Let me tell you something. If I took 10 of you, 20 of you, and sat you down and said, give me 5, I'll make it simple, 5 things you love about Trump. 5 things he did, 5 plans he did, 5 programs he did, 5, whatever it is, 5 reasons, 5 policies, 5 statements, 5. What would you think about that? What would you say? And you know what? You could come up with them and no problem. No problem at all. So 76 says Vance's stunt on the runway regarding Kamala Harris's plane and reporters, her non-interviews, and then exposing Waltz as his stolen valor was great. He's a great troll. You know what's interesting about that? Thank you for that, Soul. Let me finish one thing before I forget. If you ask somebody, tell me one thing that Kamala Harris ever did that you like. Tell me one thing. Was she a border czar? No, don't call her a border czar. What did she do? I have no idea. She brings an energy. Now, this fascinates me. This is another subject. I'm changing the subject because sometimes people say, is he changing the subject? Yes, I am. Have you heard this supposed story about what is about, theoretically, about the J.D. Vance and the pillow, or excuse me, the couch and the rubber glove and all this stuff? Did you hear this stuff? It never happened. You heard the story, right? J.D. Vance and the couch or the settee, the divan, it never happened, correct? This moment of pleasure using furniture, it never happened. You do know it never happened, right? I can't say it enough. It never happened. But they repeat it constantly as though it did happen. They repeat it and people swear by it, and it never happened. Just like Trump never said to inject bleach. He never said it. Even that Jadrul on Fox and Fox 5 or the 5 or whoever these idiots are, even they attacked her and they said, what are you talking about? She said, it's true. He said to inject bleach. He said, he never said that. It is so incredible with all that is going on. They're talking about this couch story. It never happened. But they say it with such frequency, and they say it with such verve, and they say it with such passion that people honestly believe that there's something to it. There's a very famous story. I'm not going to go into detail, but I'm going to say this to you. Younger folks won't know it. They won't know what I'm talking about, but you will. And if I did word association, just word association, and if my word association were as follows, you ready for this? Okay. If my word association, if I said to you, and I'm going to say the word, I'm going to say the name, and then you just give me one word, the first thing that comes to your mind, okay? I'm going to say one word, and then you just write down what comes to your mind. You ready for this? You ready? I'm going to say it. It's a name. You got it? And you have to write one word, no more, no matter how careful I tell people, they'll put 4 sentences. Okay, here we go. Play along with me. Ready? The name is Richard Gere. Let's go. Go. Come on. One word. That's all I'm going to say. Richard Gere. Officer and a gentleman? No. Look at this. Richard Brown. Close. No. You know the story. Now, there is absolutely, Richard Gere is a name, but your response is one word. Okay. Somebody wrote, Pretty Woman? No, Jim. I am fascinated by how things become known. And when we were kids, these things that we heard. Remember when you were a kid? Remember some great moments of, I guess, urban mythology? Remember that kid, Mikey? Hey, Mikey. He eats anything, Mikey. Them the kid with the Brooklyn. Hey, Mikey. He'll eat anything, Mikey. He likes it. It was Life cereal. Remember that, Mikey? This guy, Mikey. When I say Mikey, does anything come to mind to you? Do you remember this story? Do you remember this? Anybody? Remember Mikey? Mikey purportedly ate Pop Rocks and then Coke or something and blew up or something. Not blew up, but suffered something. Remember that one? Pop Rock. Look at Captain Clockwork. Pop Rocks. How did we ever know this story? When I was a kid, Gomer Pyle and Rock Hudson. I remember I can remember saying, Gomer Pyle and Rock Hudson. Well, why? Wait a minute, what? They what? No. Why would they do that? I had no idea. I was innocent. And I'm growing up in Florida. One of my best buddies in the world grew up in the South Bronx. We didn't have the internet. He heard the same thing. How did that happen? I heard that Eddie Haskell, this is weird. Either Eddie Haskell was Alice Cooper was Leave It to Beaver, Jerry Mathers died in Vietnam. I mean, these stories, you just hear these things and they take heft and weight and you believe them and you hear them. And that's what we have with these ideas about Trump and bleach and whatever it is. It's the most incredible thing in the world. And if we can come up with that lore, how does anybody know anything about Kamala Harris? They can't say one thing because there is no one thing. Trump, you could write down a lot of policies because he did something. I mean, he actually did something. What happened to us as a country? So the same kind of mechanism that gave us Richard Gere, by the way, is no interest. I could also say something to you. Either I could say something to you. Rod Stewart or Elton John. There's a version of this, but I think it's Rod Stewart. Another story, and they always involve emergency rooms. There's no basis to this. None. And it's how this starts. It just repeats over and over and over It blows my mind. Waltz, stolen valor. What did he quote retire or drop out as? A command sergeant major or a master sergeant? Technically, I'm gonna get Don Shipley on this immediately. What was this all about? And then he said he was this. He left early. Now, let me tell you something to my friends. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Do you understand this? If you have that serious, if it's true, by the way, the DUI, I'm sorry. I like it. DEI means DUI. Get it? Get it? I got to be honest with you. That can happen to anybody. I'm sorry. That doesn't, sorry. He didn't kill anybody and he didn't lie about it and whatever it was. Okay, I got that thing. But his whole thing is he's a coach. And he's a coach. And hey, coach, he's a linebacker coach. Hey, coach, who wants to put period products in little boys' rooms? Hey, coach, he's the linebacker coach. Reminds me of Dennis. What's his name? I remember him, the Speaker of the House. Dennis, he had some problems. I think of Sanda. Oh, I'm not saying there's no hanky panky or anything. There's no suggestion. But isn't that amazing? And here's this is the best part. Kamala Harris talking about served our country and military is like, are you kidding me? You have no. But I asked my friend, we're talking this, I said, he believes in transgender. What kind of a lunatic is this? All you care about is schools? Yeah, talk about schools. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand. That would have been, you're done with me. You let the biggest city, you let our city burn to the ground. That's it. You're done. Finish. I'm through. I don't care who you are. Left, right, whatever. I don't understand. What is the matter with this country? What is the matter? How is he even? And Josh Shapiro, they don't want him because he's a Jew. That's it. This country is so screwed up. The very fact that this could be even selected, and you know and I know. Come on. Do any of you find people believe that they're happy with her? Does anybody really say, oh, she's terrific? Oh, we just can't wait. Hey, Kamala, will you come? Let's see how many people she campaigns for. Let's see how that works. Let's see how many people she campaigns for. What do you think? Nobody. She's the biggest joke of anybody I've ever seen. I cannot tell you, and I cannot tell people enough. I cannot tell you enough how it scares me how bloody stupid she is. Stupid scares me more than anything else. And moreover, the very fact that we in this country cannot or don't seem to have any concern over the fact that people are this demented. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Now, this President Trump better start talking about some very serious stuff. And I'm liking JD more and more and more. But I hope he goes out and tells people, this is not about America. This is not about Kamala Harris. This is not about what's his name. I like the way JD doesn't even talk about him. Call him what's his name. It's what's his name. That'll drive him nuts. This is about the country that you live in. You had 4 years of some of the most productive businesses, people flourished. What was it that tell me the particular horror you felt. I'm all ears. Please. Trans, gays, hermaphrodites, pseudo-hermaphrodites, morphodites, catamites, anybody you want, pederasts, anything, just come forward. Paraphiles, flaneurs, frottage proponents, undenists. I'm trying to think of some good, some freaky behaviors without getting too censored. In any event, tell me how you suffered, please. Here's a microphone. Tell me how you suffered. I'll tell you how I suffered. You want to know how I suffered? Oh, I'll tell you how I suffered. I suffered by people who all of a sudden I found out they're not my friends anymore. I didn't suffer from, financially or personally. I don't care about that. But I suffered from people who just went absolutely crazy. I suffered during a time like most of us where we realized for the first time there was actual biomedical tyranny. We saw this. I saw people standing up, walking around. And by the way, another thing that what's his name? And by the way, that's his name. What's his name? Don't even give him the dignity. What's he going to do? Are they going to switch him out for her? Is that it? Is he supposed to be the Wilford Brimley? Is he supposed to make things better? Is that what you're talking about? Is that what people think? Oh. But my friends, I want you to understand with me. And I want you to just listen. When there is that debate, which she cannot run from, you cannot not have a debate. You can't do this. You cannot not have a debate. You understand what I'm saying? She may not want to have a debate. She may recoil from the notion of it, but she cannot not have a debate. Cannot. Under no circumstances can she not have a debate. Cannot. JD and what's his name? Oh my God. And the first rule, remember what I'm saying. The first rule that President Trump has got to understand is, remember, point fingers. Mel, he goes by the name Mel. Mel says, I still want to know how the Fed parallaxes Biden, and no one in the mainstream media is asked, ask where he is. Mel, I ask the question with you, my friend. It's one of those things where I don't understand any of this. I don't understand any of this. I don't know about you, but on my YouTube list, I get Forbes. The Forbes has all these great Sunday things. John Kennedy. There was a woman named Udu or something. And all these people become. I watch these lunatics, and they're all confirmed as district judges, circuit judges. Oh my God, these one after another. And they love this stuff. And Mel, maybe you're like me, but you're saying, why are we talking about, where is President Trump? Where is he? Ladies and gentlemen, J.M. Sparger says in Texas, $1.50 gas, $1.25 milk, end of discussion. You're saying there's $1.50 gas in Texas now? What is it that tells me? What is it? Maybe you could help me. I don't understand these things. I'm stupid. What is it that says, yes, I just want to make sure that the transsexual community is able to enjoy this mutilation surgery so that kids can be guaranteed mutilated and shattered and shredded genitalia, even though they don't know what their favorite color is. This is what I want. Charlie Callahan knows something about shredded genitals. That's the name of my high school rock band. Charlie says, grumbling has it Joe wants back. Oh, yes. He is just, he is just, this is the way he goes out. I know you don't care about him. Listen to me. I know you don't care about him. I don't blame you. It's not that you don't have a heart. You're a good person. I know you are. But there's a part of you that says, I just don't care. But there's a part of me that says, wow. Wouldn't you love just to sit there in this? This is a guy, by the way, who remember what he did? What he did to Clarence Thomas? He's a vicious, vicious man. Remember what he did to Jill's ex-husband? The man's vicious. Wouldn't you love to sit there all of a sudden like a ghost who shows up all of a sudden? He's in his Wilmington root cellar, handcuffed to the bed, watching. He's got an IV drip, watching Matlock. And all of a sudden I show up. Well. Look who it is. Joe Robinette Biden Jr. Oh, corn pop. How you doing there, buddy boy? Look at you now. Boy, they pushed you right out. They came in. I mean, they were like squatters. They came and said, wait a minute, I'm the president. You're out. Well, I know you're technically in. Roar. When's Barry going to drop? And by the way, you and I know Barry. Barry couldn't fire the cleaning lady. He's just following orders. But when are they going to kick you out? When are they going to hand the keys to what's your name? Wouldn't that be great? Because there's no, Joe, with all due respect, I'm feeling sorry for you and everything, I really sort of kind of feel sorry for you. But there's 165 days until the inauguration. 165 days. Keep in mind what we're talking about here. This is some of the scariest stuff I've ever heard. And the DNC, 12 days. And 90 days until the election. 90. Joe, what did they do to you? What did they do? How did this happen, Joe? You were all those years, 50 plus years. You were something, Joe. Oh, man. Pocketing all that money. God almighty. How many times did you mortgage that Rehoboth or whatever that beach? 40 times, 30 times? What's going on here? You and Jill, I'll bet you Jill. And Jill is the one who's pissed off more than anyone. I saw a picture today of who was it? It was Michelle Obama and somebody else. Who? I just saw it. They felt this sympathy. And Melinda Gates. They've bonded Michelle Obama and Melinda Gates. Soul 76KN says Trump seems to be slipping back into the ad hominem attacks. People don't like that. Compare the records. Measured. Were you better 4 years ago? Simple. Soul, I've said this, brother. I've been saying this, that his simple thing is, mine is very simple. Do you want 4 more years of this? That's it. That's a very simple thing. But I've got this friend of mine. He's an apologist. Great guy. Good friend of mine. And he comes up with these doozies. I don't know if somebody tells him this or if he really believes it. And he came up with the one the other day and he said, you got to understand, that's the way Trump is. I mean, I'm sorry. You call it the ad hominem attack. Here's a guy who came from the era of Howard Stern and shock jocks. And that's just the way he is. And you're not going to change him. You're not going to get him to change his mind. That's the way he does it. That's the way he does these things. And it's worked for him. And he's not going to change. And I'm thinking, well, he better change. Crypto Domini says, big dick from Chicago here. Burr, burr, burr. It's a 3-speed dick. Trump has policies. Shamala has to pile up next to the upper decker. Shamala has, toilet paper piled up next to the upper decker. Wow. Crypto, man. I think that crypto makes sense. You are good, man. You are good. You're too fast for me because I tend to try to decode these things and I always read more into them than were imagined. How's it feel? How's it feel there, Joe? Joe, oh my God. History is going to be, you're not even going to leave on Air Force One. It was bad. Damn, that hit you hard, Joe. You were walking around there mumbling and slipping and sliding and you got I mean, it was bad. I mean, you just declined so fast. All of us have, seriously, all of us have seen this, but most people, when they get old, they're not like this. Look at Alan Dershowitz, he's 85. Look at Jagger. Look at the Stones. Look at all these people. And you're walking around, and you're smelling girls' hair. You're still doing this stuff. What do you, rub foreheads? What are you, an Eskimo? Some alley-oop thing? What the hell's the matter with you? And Jill is going, like I told you, going nuts. I had it, Joe. I had it. I was on Vogue. Don't you understand? You did it, Joe. Remember you had that guy Porter or Potter, whatever, the guy with the freaky nails? And then you had all these freaks and LGBT and the trans. Remember that? And now we found out what happened to the blow. Old Cheeto said, get rid of it. Unbelievable. How do you not indict her? Hey, Jim Jordan. Why bother? Jim Jordan, biggest bunch of nothings anybody's ever seen. Biggest bunch of it. Wouldn't you just love to have Trump every single day, 2 times a day, 3 times a day? We just turn it on and say, Mr. President, sit down, and just open up the mind. Just open it up and just say, where's Joe? I want to make sure he's okay. I'm ordering. I don't know what I'm ordering, but this is a mutiny. Is he okay? 14 million Democrats voted for him. 14 million. And look what they did. And Joe, you're going to be always known as the guy who just was taken out on his shield. It was a coup. They forced you out. And they didn't even have the decency to let you just formally announce it. You had to do it on a Twitter, on a tweet from some account that wasn't even yours. Come on, Joe. Come on, man. Is that your phrase? Wasn't that your phrase? Come on, man. Oh, I love that corn pop. Joe, when you did corn pop, that's when I realized this guy's out of his tree. Stephen Lynch, everybody, says Joe's retreat will be like Afghanistan. Yes, show. Indeed. It will be. It'll be this. It'll be an evacuation. He'll leave stuff behind and nobody will say anything. Akeem Jeffries wants people to send in and be a part of, what is it, a birthday gift or something? I don't know what it is. Oh, yeah, a thank you card. They're already saying you did a great job. It's like, wait a minute, he's still president. None of his schedule has been slated. No time available. Nothing. And I wish Trump could just turn on that mic and say, hey, Shamala, you and what's his name are going to push the, let me get this straight. What is it? The child gender assignment. Are you still doing that? Shamala, don't you know nobody ever wants it? Nobody in this country wants that. How can you expect a kid who doesn't even know his favorite color to decide what kind of surgery? And you and what's his name came up with that? Are you serious? With all that's going on in the world, are you trying to tell me, or maybe it wasn't you because you don't have a plan? Hell, you haven't done anything. You should have been Philly. By the way, how much did you pay those people to show up for that? Because remember, there's 2 things these folks want to show up to. Is a free concert and looting. That's it. You know it and I know it. Hell, you talk more about the coach and the coach. So this is right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's assume one day Hamas, Hezbollah, Al-Aqsa, ISIS, ISIL, Daesh, Khorasan, remember them? The Houthis. Houthis are some real passionate people. But Hezbollah, oh man. And Iran? And they decide one day, did you hear what happened to old Taylor Swift? Where were they canceled her concert and where was it? In Vienna. Because of threats of terrorism. Oh, this isn't good. You heard about that Afghanistan dude or Pakistan or wherever the hell he was who was threatening President Trump. Do you know that we know people? There's one case where this mother and her kids found it cheaper, honest to God, to fly to Vienna. Was it cheaper to fly to Vienna and see her there than to get a ticket here? It's cheaper. This is something that. So what happens if all of a sudden you and what's his name have to do something, and he didn't even pick up the phone to call the National Guard? Do you see what they're doing in the UK? Do you see how they're going to people's homes, the police, and with saws and tearing their doors down because they post on social media? Oh, this world. Let me tell you something. You have no idea what's in store for this. And these people, Kamala and what's his name, are going to absolutely be the greatest thing to the shadow government ever. Be afraid, my friend. Be very, very afraid. Now, right now, as we said, and as I said earlier today, if you look at the actual electoral college votes, it looks like Trump is still looking good. Looking good. But who right now is worried? Are you worried? And don't tell me, oh, there's no way. Trump's got, does anybody feel this way? I think it looks very good right now. But does anybody feel that Trump's got it? Trump's got nothing to worry about? Does anybody feel that? Does anybody feel, seriously? Do you feel like, oh, nothing can go wrong? He's got it. Start measuring the drapes. Anybody feel like that? Anybody? Anybody? I'm not saying to be worried. There's Kevin, by the way, Kevin Oojvery. I like that. Let me tell you something. If you feel that nothing can go wrong, if you feel honestly that they've got this guy, Laura Trump's in charge. She's got all the precincts, everything done. Where do we hear about this one about honey, there was some reference to not illegals, Spanish voters or something. Where did we hear that? Today you said this.
77,000 new votes.
Well, no, there were 77,000 driver's licenses that he.
I think I said that means 77,000 new votes.
Right. 77,000 driver's license in the motor voter world means 77,000 new voters. And that's just in Minnesota enough. Do you feel honestly that Trump is handling? Do you think the message? And I don't want to get anybody upset, but you know me, I'm not going to sit back and say, don't worry, it's going to be great. Do you really think? Do you really think that with all of these people, and what scares me the most, what makes me very concerned is that these people have a new wind in their sail. These folks, it was great to see them scared and soiling themselves. Van Jones crying after the debate and after July 5th with Stephanopoulos and the big Clooney letter. Oh, that was big. When George Clooney writes a letter, well, you can pretty much forget that, my friend. You can forget. It is done. It is absolutely done. If George Clooney, and I'm thinking to myself, I can't imagine that this could be done. And if it is, it'll be either stolen legally or through some incredible, weird negligence. Thank you, Sean Lucan. Do you understand this? And I know that JD's trying to do a good job. He's doing these little promotional, but what good does that do? I want to know the organizational. How are you doing in the swing states? Let's look at the numbers. Let's look at the polls. What are you doing? Who was in charge of your organization? There was a fellow, remember Brad Parscale in 2016? He was fantastic. He knew everything. He could mobilize through Facebook and he was superb. Who's doing that now? Kevin, who's doing that now, my friend? Who's doing that? Who? You look a little bit like Toby Keith, bless his heart. You got that kind of look there. Appreciate that. Or Brian Keith, when I get him confused sometimes. But here's, and thank you, but who's it? Whenever I see these folks, I want to say, what are you people talking about? Where is that Lara Trump? I don't understand what it is. Where is Lara Trump? What is she doing? I want to know, what's the president doing? Charlie says, Pennsylvania fixed his constitution. Georgia now allows poll watchers in counting rooms. Well, that's good. That's a part of it. Remember, it's not over. I'm not. But wouldn't you want to say every single day, you try one thing? We've got eyes everywhere. We've got lawyers. We've got teams. Don't you want to put the word out to kind of scare them? Like, do you think he means that? And what Trump should always do is tell people what you're afraid they're going to do. Trump should get on this magical new Trump vision and say, they're going to steal this legally. You know they're going to do it. And you know, they figured out how Raskin and others, anybody who dares to they'll disbar you. They'll go after your clients. You don't have any big firms doing this. Anybody see, what was her name? The Kraken, Sidney Powell, that when it released the Kraken. Never heard from her again. How about Harmeet Dillon? Gone. Never see him again. See ya. Rudy, poor Rudy. Gone. See ya, Rudy. Gone. They're just gone. Did you see where Tiffany Henyard, the super mayor from Dalton, Illinois, they had her credit cards taken away. Did you see that? She has to have prior authorization now. That was the only good thing. Fannie Willis is there. Remember Fannie? It seems like years ago. But what are they going to do? That night, where is this? Where are the teams? Who's in charge? I want to know the names. You always knew the names of people. What are the big techs going to do? Can anybody answer this question? Soul says, anyone else tired of hearing from Frank Luntz? I know this is cruel, Soul, but with that man's genius, can he get a better wig than that? Why do men do that? Women, okay, fine, because there's a certain style and a panache in various wig stylings and the like. Okay, fine. But he's got this dead beaver pelt on his head, and he sits there and he says the same thing. And by the way, he hates Trump, hates him. And he's on CNN to say things that they want to hear. You know who else is a real snake in the grass? Karl Rove. Though he says some interesting things with his magic slate, which he stole from Tim Russer. Remember that, the magic slate? He stole that. I don't watch that stuff. Again, you look at the rolling averages, but I want the president to talk about really important things. How many of you should think the president should stop playing golf until the election? How many of you think that makes him look elitist? It doesn't connect with people. You're trying to get new people, independent. And what's he doing? He's playing golf. Mar-a-Lago is going to charge now $1 million for membership. $1 million. Now people say, that's okay. If he wants to play golf, that's his business. Let me ask you something. Would you advise him to do that? Would you advise him? Go, it's just great. They love to see you hanging out with John Daly and playing golf with these people. They love that. And they love seeing your granddaughter play on this course that nobody else could afford or get to. I mean, this elitist, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't understand why he never, you know what I told you years ago, but nobody listened to me. Trump should have this school. Remember, Trump University caught a lot of grief. They said it was a scam and all this stuff. They should have something that is, you pick 4 to 5 young people from inner cities or whatever, different racial makeup, not just all black or white or poor, but just people. And you, by virtue of Trump, you go to school and you can have an apprenticeship, and we'll show you how we build, how they frame. They're always building something to work and to see, putting people to work. Trump has one of the longest and some of the most loyal people working with him for years. He should always be thinking about that. Always thinking about the angle. Thinking about we had a governor in New York, in Florida, Bob Graham, who was senator and governor. He worked a place every day. He worked a new place. While governor, he would just one day devote to working at a pumping gas or serving sandwiches or whatever it was at a place. He wanted to meet people. All knowing one says, I'm not comfortable until inauguration day +1. Oh, I'm with you on this one. Absolutely. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate this. Please be not one of these people who feels like I can't say anything. I don't want to say anything bad. I love President Trump. Everything he does is wonderful. Sometimes he does some stupid things, but that's all right. J.D. Vance is still not my favorite, but whatever, good. He's not bad. At least he's going out there and dealing with particular issues. But he says it and it goes out. It's lost in the ether. You've got to see him. You got to catch him on a tarmac. If President Trump all of a sudden dropped this Trump vision, everybody would say, this is the first time we've ever seen anything like this. He's actually speaking to his constituency on either Truth Social or X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And he does a 1-minute story all day long. And he's asking he's got to do a call to action. Pick up the phone and call 202, that's the president's office, and ask, where is the president? Where is he? They go nuts when you call. They go nuts. Mrs. L will tell you, when you're in D.C. and you go to the Capitol and you're trying to meet somebody, you're trying to promote something, you can send them all the emails you want. Those things just, nobody ever sees them. You call and they keep track of that. Calling still drives these people nuts. Kent Lomason said, love you and Mrs. L. Kent, thank you, brother. I appreciate that immensely. But everything, if Trump says every single day, where is he? Right now, something happens. You've got terrorism. Taylor Swift had to cancel her. What happens if this son of a gun is asked to be in charge? Pamela Garner, thank you, Pamela. An excellent statement of faith. Oh, by the by, a little timeout. Please see was it X, or there was this story about Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor tapes or something. Unbelievable. Has nothing to do with this. Nothing to do with politics. I just want to let you know, if you get a hold of this, to hear her words. I have become so nostalgic. Not stuck in the past, but nostalgic. When there were these people who really did something. People who were great politicians. People who did something. CE Camera says, eyeliner JD wants to be Keith Richards. I'm all in. You do know that is eyeliner, right? Did you see that, honey? That's eyeliner. And, well, I've seen him a million times. I mean, well, in this picture I'm seeing, and I've thought about this before, but I've seen others that look like it. I don't know if that's, look, in this world, you can't do anything that will distract you. Eyeliner, I don't know. Maybe Keith Richards, maybe, who was it? Russell Brand does it. In any event, the president cannot waste a moment. He has to remind people. And the very simple thing is this. Remember what I told you. Make the message very simple. They're going to say, if what's his name abandoned his state during the Black Lives Matter riots, don't call it George Floyd protest. No, it's the Black Lives Matter orchestrated Antifa riots. If he abandoned his state and his city, what do you think what's his name and what's her name is going to do if all of a sudden Kim Jong-un fires a tactical nuclear weapon towards Seoul? What do you think they're going to do? Can you imagine her on the phone? Can you imagine her on the phone yelling at Bibi, that's enough? Or yelling at some Hezbollah, some sexist, whatever. Do you think she has the steel and the metal and the mean, M-I-E-N, to replicate Maggie Thatcher, Golda Meir? You think she's going to imagine being somebody who is I guess an interpreter, one of those sign language folks, trying to keep up when she goes through the bus is yellow and the community bank is the bank and the bank is left of the bank and what? My friends, do not lose faith, but be very concerned. And make sure you always stay here, right here at the nation, where you were always a citizen. Always. I mean that sincerely. I thank you for that. CE Camera, Pamela Garner, thank you so much. Sounds like an actress from the 60s. Or is that Beverly Garner? Beverly. Wasn't she on My Three Sons? Married to Steve? In any event, Kent Lameson, thank you. Kevin Oujvery. I'll add a lot of panache to your name. All-knowing one, thank you. South 76 Can, Charlie Calais, Sean Lucan, Toucan Sam, Lucan, you know him, you love him. Stephen Lynch, Crypto Domini, Crypto God or Gods, or Crypto of the God, Anno Domini, Dominus, Domini, Domina, Dominorum, Dominis. Can you conjugate verbs? Genitive? No. Not what is the first word? Not nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, nominative. Anyway, it's been a while. It's been a long day. I'm trying to remember my Mr. Pellegrin Jesuit High School Latin. Charlie Calais, thank you. J.M. Sparger, Mel. I thank you so much. Mel and Buddha, TT Boy. Thank you as well. I've asked you this, my friends, and I want you to. Kevin says, what Lionel would you pick to lead the DOJ? What would you pick to lead? Oh, who would you pick, brother? The DOJ? If I had my druthers, somebody said something the other day. That's a good one. Ideally, as crazy as it sounds, the next opening, I don't know if he'll be confirmed, but Judge Napolitano, I love him. Love him. Secretary of State, John Mearsheimer. Secretary of Defense, Douglas McGregor, without a doubt. Department of Justice, I'm trying to think, maybe somebody we need like maybe a Ted Cruz or somebody who really knows their stuff. We need somebody who really knows the business. DOJ is a different story. The Attorney General in particular, that you need somebody who really knows what they're doing. And somebody vicious is what you need. Okay? Gloria's taken off. Gloria, God love you, hon. Thank you for being with us. Let me ask you a big favor. Glow, before you go, take note of this. Mrs. L, her channel is on fire. And Lynn's Warriors is up. Here is the link right now. Lynn's Warriors, go and sign up for her tube. She did an interview today with a feller, a New Jersey assemblyman who's a father of 8. And they're talking about legislation that is needed to protect our children. She lives and breathes nothing but protecting kids, keeping them away from predation and victimization and trafficking. So please do this. Also, you can be a member on her channel where it's up and running. She's going to be doing a live, might do a live one tomorrow. So make sure you subscribe. And I may be her first guest, or I may be running the buttons just to make sure it runs smoothly so she can just talk to you all. But anyway, your kindness and love for her and for the cause and for the children is truly inspiring. Okay, that's it. Do not give up hope. Do not be concerned. You can be a little bit worried. Well, this is nowhere near giving up the hope. This is not in any way over. And as if the election were held today, right now, Trump would win. The Electoral College. Easy. So don't go nuts. Just take it easy. Take it easy. All right, dear friends, we'll see you at 8 tomorrow. Have a great and a glorious day. Don't ever change. I mean that sincerely. And until then, remember these words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da, da.